Former Senate President Troy Jackson is going to run for governor of Maine next year. Jackson is set to launch his campaign with a statewide tour from Kittery to Madawaska. His first stop today, a tour of the Auburn Manufacturing Incorporated before a visit to the Lockwood Mill in Waterville. Jackson's a Democrat from Allagash. He recently stepped down from the Maine Senate due to term limits after serving 6 years as the president of the chamber. Other Democrats announcing their intention to run for governor are Shetta Bellows and Kenneth Panett, as well as Republicans Bobby Charles and Robert Wessels.